Hi guys, welcome back again to Lunch Guide. I'm your chef and host Sheena Amario. Today we're going to be making a panzanella salad and some chicken tikka skewers. So don't worry about the word, it's a bit complicated, but it's something very simple. A panzanella salad is basically a salad that the origin is from Italy, a little town called Tuscany. So basically what it is, it's just like fresh tomatoes that have been cut up with some capsicums. The capsicums are a bit optional, and then usually have some cucumbers, and then now the main dish, which is the tomatoes, is actually soaked in with some bread. So that's like the whole concept of a panzanella salad, and it's mainly eaten during the summertime out there because it's like nice and hot, and people want to eat something that's nice and chilling and cool so they can enjoy the summer breeze. Yeah, so that's like the main dish. And what it's going to go with is salad, is the chicken tikka. So you can do the panzanella salad by itself, or you can add something else to it. So I'm adding some chicken to it, some chicken skewers. So the ingredients I'm using are, they look a lot, but they're not too much. Don't worry. Okay, so to start off with, we have some pepper, some salt, some herbs. Then some of these spices, they're actually going to go into the tikka. So here we have some cumin, some chili powder, some danajira, some garam masala, some ginger and some garlic, as well as some oil, some balsamic vinegar, some turmeric, some yogurt, some bread, some fresh bread. And then we've got here our onion. And on this side, of course, we've got some garlic, as well as some, as well as some lemons and our fresh herbs, which today I'm going to be using a bit of some parsley and a bit of some basil. Basil has got some nice long leaves, so we'll be using that. And of course, we've got our chicken and our vegetables. The vegetables, we're using some capsicums, which have just been cut up, just some mixed capsicums, and of course some tomatoes and a cucumber. So that's for the main ingredients that we'll be using. So for the chicken tikka skewers, we're going to put them in the oven, and then we're just going to leave them in there. So to start off with, we're going to start off with our mixture, with the yogurt mixture. So we're going to leave our chicken marinating before we go on a short break. So to start off with, we're going to have our spices. I'm just going to get them out here. Then I'll mention them to you as I put them in, because I don't forget anything. And then of course we're going to put some lemon. And then for the lemon, I'm going to put the juice as well as the zest. And of course, our chicken, our star, we can't forget our main star. Yeah, so these are the main things that I'm going to be putting inside the bowl to marinate it. So now if you've got a lot of time, you could do this overnight. But if you don't have the time, then at least do it for 20 minutes. So I'm going to start off with some salt. So I'm being generous with the salt, about a teaspoon of salt. Then we're going to put some garam masala, which you can always smell to be sure if you're not so sure. Yes. So not too much, just a bit of the garam masala. And then the cumin, you want to go higher on the cumin. Cumin has got this nice pungent smell. You can just smell it from a mile away. So I like to go heavy on the cumin. This is a personal thing. If you want to put less, then it's a bit up to you. Then here we've got some danajira. Danajira basically is just an Indian word, which basically means some coriander seeds that have been mixed up with some cumin. So that's all it is. And then a bit of spice, a kick. We're going to put a bit of pili pili. Pili pili is just chili. It's what we call it here in Kenya, pili pili, which is just chili. So I'm going to then add our garlic as well as some ginger. So throw in some ginger there, so some ginger and garlic. Then I just want to put this away from me. The black pepper again is optional since I'm using some chili, so I don't mind the heat. I'm going to add a bit of black pepper. But if you do mind, then I'll suggest you go with the black pepper and just omit going with the chili altogether. Then we're going to add some oil. This is just some regular oil. Whatever oil you use, whether it's sunflower, it can be up to you, corn oil, canola oil, it's kind of up to you. So we're going to add our oil. And then what I'm going to add next is the yogurt. So I'm just going to pour in some of my yogurt. This is natural yogurt that I'm using here. And then we're going to mix this up. So you want to mix this generously. Then we're going to add our cumin. Sorry, not the cumin, the turmeric, which is for the yellow color. You could also buy some food color. I'm going to place that aside, and then I'm going to get my lemon. And for the lemon, I've mentioned I'm using the zest as well, so I'm just going to zest this. This is just the outer skin. Sorry, this is just for the outer skin. So we're just going to go ahead and then just zest it. So you don't want to go all the way to the white pit, so you're just zesting the outer skin. And what this does, it gives you a nice lemony flavor. It's actually even stronger than the juice inside. So anytime you're using a lemon or let's say an orange, try not to waste it. Try utilize everything you can. So I've gone round and have some nice beautiful chunks of zest here. And if they're not fine enough, you can go through them with a knife like I'm about to do, because I want them to be a bit fine. So I'm just going to finely chop this, and then afterwards we're going to add them into our mixture. Okay, and if you are here, you can already smell the aroma of the lemon. It's nice and citrusy. So add your lemon, the whole lot, nothing is being left behind. Every little piece counts. Put it all in there, and then we're going to put this back. And then now we're going to juice this, I mentioned. I just want to get a bit of my turmeric first so that it's not forgotten. Okay, then add a little bit. Again, the turmeric, you don't want to put too much of the turmeric, it just gives a nice color. But then too much, again, it tends to be pungent, and you can actually taste it, because turmeric tends to be very heavy. As much as it doesn't have a taste of its own, if you overput it, it tends to be very strong. It overpowers everything else with this earthy sort of taste. So you want to always put it on the lesser side, just a bit for the color. Then now for the lemon, after the zest, we're going to roll this so you can make sure that all the juices are going to be squeezed out easily. And this is a really nice lemon. You can already see it's gotten a cut already. That tells you it's going to be nice and juicy. At least I hope so. Yes. Okay, so I'm using my hand here as a sieve, so I'm just going to pour out, and I can see one of the seeds that has fallen in, so I'm just going to make sure I get it out before I continue with my stirring, because it's going to be really hard to locate it. So always try and make sure you're looking at everything you do, and there it is. So just set that aside. And then the next one, juice it again. So this is going to be really nice and lemony and fresh because of the zest as well as the juice. Then we're going to cut up our chicken, and then we're going to leave this to marinate and put it in the oven next. Okay, so once you're done, I'm just going to clean up my hands a little bit. Okay, and then afterwards we're going to just mix our mixture here. I'm just going to go ahead and mix with my spoon that's almost disappearing. It wants to do the disappearing act on me in my little mixture over here. Okay, so you mix this up generously. Now if you have some nice food color, let's say like a red food color, most times that is what most chicken tikkas use. You get this nice deep red color, but you can also get that from a certain Indian chili that is known as Kashmiri chili. But if you don't have that, then just definitely use some food color. But for me, I'm not. Like I mentioned, I'm using everything a bit on the natural side. So mine, I'm using the yellow turmeric. So it's going to have more of a yellow hue than a reddish hue. So once that's done, always taste your mixture. I like to taste everything as I go. This is so nice. I could actually eat this by itself. Oh, yum. You can actually feel the kick of the chili. Like I mentioned, I do like my stuff a bit on the spicy side, but if you don't, then just put it less. So we're going to get our chicken. I'm going to use the same board because it's just going to go in there. And then afterwards, we're going to cut this into big chunks, reasonably big, not too small and not too big. Then we're just going to dip it in straight away. No fancy work. So cut your chicken. That's good enough. Then cut the tip. Then your chicken into half again. And then just repeat the process. So like I've mentioned, we're cutting our chicken into relatively big chunks because we're making some skewers. Now, you don't want your chicken to shrink once it's in the oven because it's going to shrink anyway. So try and make sure that your chunks are relatively big so you have a good bite to it when you take a bite of your chicken. Okay, so that's in there. Now, if you like to get your hands nice and dirty, then you can go ahead and do this. If you don't like to, then use some tongs or something like that. Before I do that, I'm actually going to pour some oil into my tray here. Just a little bit of oil. And what this is going to do, it's going to just help your skewers not to stick to the bottom. Then we're going to spread the oil evenly before I start my mixing. So this is what we're going to do. So just a little generous, oil your tray. And again, when you oil your tray like this, it just makes it easier for you not to do much of the cleaning up as you go. So once that's done, I'm going to get my skewers with me ready. So my skewers are here. And it's always advised we're using wooden ones to at least have pre-soaked them in water. So I'm going to just go ahead and do this. And the reason for doing that, the pre-soaking your wooden sticks in water, is just because it's going to cause them to burn less when they're in the oven. But you can't always prevent it. Sometimes it will happen. Sometimes you might be lucky. But it's always just best to start off with them being already pre-soaked. So I'm going to run mine again in cold water. I had soaked them earlier, so I'm just going to run them again in cold water. And then I'll start my skewering process. So like I mentioned, if you have the time, leave this again for overnight, 20 minutes or so that you have enough time. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do one. Then we're going to go on a short break. When you come back, we'll put this in the oven. So what you do is once you get your skewer, like I mentioned, I wanted to run this under cold water actually. Just so they're nice and cool by the time they go to the oven. Okay, so you want to get your skewer and then run your chicken in. And usually for this, it's optional if you're going to add other herbs or onions into this. I'm not going to, because the salad I'm making is very colorful. So I want the chicken to shine by itself and the salad to shine by itself. But by all means, you could definitely add some vegetables into this. So just put your skewers, your chicken into the skewers. I think I'm going to go with about 5 pieces each. And then you just go right ahead. So it's a bit of a messy job, but if you like the mess, well, sometimes it tends to be therapeutic. Sometimes it might not be for you. Then you can get your kids to help you out. Or just someone who you think would really enjoy doing this. Okay, so once that's done, this is what we're looking for. Your chicken is well and placed. And everything is well coated. So we're just going to place it into our greased tray. So that's all I'm going to do. Just going to place it there. So I'm just going to clean up my hands for a minute. For a second. Okay. So we're going to go on a short break. In the meantime, I'm going to finish skewering this up. Then I'm going to put them in the oven. Usually I like to preheat my oven to about 200 degrees. So I'm just going to do that for a minute before we go on the break. So what I'm going to do is just heat the oven. So I'm heating my oven to 200 and, as you can see, 200 degrees. And then we want to go ahead and set the timer. So that's all we're doing. We're just heating our oven to 200 degrees and then set the timer and then let that warm up for about 10 or so minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Then we're going to place our chicken inside. So I'll see you guys after the break in a few minutes. See you. Hi guys, welcome back again to Lunch Guide. I'm your chef and host, Sheena Amario. Today we're going to be making a panzanella salad with some chicken tikka skewers. Now we just went on a short break, and before that we had actually made the skewers. We had made the marinade, the chicken tikka marinade, and then I started with one skewer. So I've just finished it off. Then I'm going to put them in the oven. So I'm just going to pop this in. I mentioned if you have the time, you could leave this to marinate overnight, but if you don't have the time, then just work with what you have. At least 20 minutes, start off with that. So I'm just going to set this in the oven and let them cook slowly. Well, not too slow, at about 200 degrees, and then for about 20 minutes or so. So once the oven is hot enough, I like to reduce my temperature to at least about 180 degrees, and then now I'll let it cook about 20 minutes, but I like to always check on it. So I'm just going to check my temperature here, just reduce it a little bit, and then set my timer to 20 minutes, and just leave that to cook. So in the meantime, what I'm going to do is start off with our salad. Now I mentioned we're making a panzanella salad, and all that is just a salad that is made with tomatoes and then with some bread, and then some bread is soaked into it. So it might sound a little bit fancy, but don't get carried away by the words. It's not too complicated. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the star of the dish, which is tomatoes. So just chop them up. Just get your tomatoes, cut them up. And the salad, it's really simple to make because these are just the leftovers you'll have in your house. Like if you have some tomatoes, you don't know what to do with them, so you'll just go ahead and use them. So you see, so it's not too complicated. So we're just going to chop this into nice little dices, so into large cubes. And now I mentioned the salad is originated from Italy, so it's just a dish they happen to have there during the summer. So I hope I'm doing them some form of justice, introducing it to you guys, and you get to learn a few things here and there as well. So it's always a good day when you can learn a new recipe, new ingredients, so it's always a good time for that. So I'm almost done with my tomatoes, and once I am, I'm going to add some cucumbers in here. Like I mentioned, the main star of the dish is the tomatoes, and then now with the bread, which is what makes it a panzanella salad, because the bread is soaked in there. But then I'm going to add some other vegetables because I have them. So you could add into this some capsicums, which I'm going to do, some cucumbers, some olives if you have them. So just make it your own. Some garlic if you want as well, some onions. Then we want the juices, which is quite the opposite of most salads. You kind of try and get rid of some of the juices if you want it to stay long. For this, you need the juices because you need your bread to soak in some of the juices from the tomatoes, giving it the nice natural flavors. So you want that. So set this aside. Get your cucumber. For the cucumber, I'm just going to peel it round, just give it a bit of a character. So just do that. So I'm peeling as I skip, to just give it the contrast of the bright green and the light green. And then just place this aside, and then get to chopping. Some more chopping. So you can pretty much say that this salad happens to have a lot of chopping, which is true. So we're just going to do this in the circular motion. You could cut this any way you wanted to, into halves if you want to. You can pretty much make it your own, so you could cut them into halves if you wanted to. In fact, I think I'll do that, now that I've mentioned it to you guys. Let's go with halves. Then they won't look too big in our salad. And you could always sometimes remove the seeds if you want to. If you notice, my cucumber didn't have very large seeds. So if you're not a fan of the juices in the cucumber or the seeds, you can definitely remove them. So once that's done, we're going to add it to your already chopped tomatoes. Don't worry about the one getting away. Okay, then get now your capsicums. My capsicums are already washed. We're not using too many capsicums because again, I want the tomatoes to stand out. So just cut your capsicums whichever shape you want to. So I'm just going to dice mine into kind of like triangular shapes, a bit of like an irregular shape. So just go ahead. So I'm just giving them a bit of character. Now, if you're not too used to eating your vegetables raw, then you might want to start off with vegetables that you like. Perhaps start off with the tomatoes alone, start off with maybe one of the colored capsicums, maybe the green one or the red one, whichever one you like, and then graduate from there on to try and eating more raw vegetables, as sometimes it tends to be like an acquired taste. Most people don't tend to be fans of raw vegetables. So if it's still a bit foreign to you or a bit new to you, start off small. So this is my onion. I'm just peeling this off, which was already washed. Then I'm just going to cut this again, some reasonably large chunks, not too small, not too big. So for my onion, I like to make it just a bit on the smaller side compared to everything else, but not too small either. So again, just add it in there. So nothing goes to waste. Then we're just going to mix that and toss it up. I just want to wash my hands for a minute. Okay. And then for this, we're going to add our bread like I mentioned, because you want your bread to toss in here and you want it to combine with the flavors really nicely. So this is one of those salads that you're not afraid of overdressing, because all that moisture is going to be soaked in by the bread, and that's exactly what you want your bread to do. So you're going to get your bread here. Up to you, you can use whatever bread you want, but I'm actually using baguette bread. Sometimes the baguette bread tends to be a bit hard. If your knife can't quite go through, you can always get the serrated knife, which is actually the bread knife. But if you don't have one at home, then just make it work with the knife that you do have. See how much easier that is? The serrated knife just makes things so much easier. So much easier. Okay. So our bread, we're just going to cut this up into large chunks. You could actually tear this up. So I'm going to do some that way so you can get the full picture. You don't have to actually use a knife to cut them. So we're using some chunks like this, some large chunks. And if you wanted to, you could use your hands. So it doesn't have to be anything perfect. In fact, this feels nice and homely. So you don't have to feel like I'm being all fancy. We're just using bread here, just the normal bread. Cut it up into small chunks, reasonably. Not too small, like I mentioned, let's say medium cut. Then cut up some more. So I'm going to mix this up before adding the rest of my bread, so that maybe it's not too much bread that I have. Then check on the chunks. Then we're going to season this, and you want to season this on the higher side, because everything here, there's no taste. As you've noticed, it's vegetables, and vegetables take on whatever flavor you season. So add some salt. Be generous with the salt. A bit of black pepper. Again, I love black pepper, so a good pinch of black pepper. If you don't like black pepper, then definitely you can omit it. You don't have to use it, but I like it. Then we're going to use something a little different, some balsamic vinegar. Now, balsamic vinegar has got this nice, lovely taste to it. It's more like a refreshing molasses taste. But if you're not a fan of balsamic vinegar, then you could use another type of vinegar, like a red wine vinegar. Could have a similar closeness to what you're looking for, because you're looking for something that's nice and deep. But if you're not into those kind of vinegars, then you could use something like a white wine vinegar, or use an apple cider vinegar, which will have some nice sweetness to it. So just try and make it work with whatever vinegars you like to use. So for the balsamic vinegar, I'm going to be, again, a bit generous with it, because I like my balsamic vinegar. I'm not shy with it. I really love it. Okay, so I'm going to start off with that, and then we're going to soak this. And you can see all the nice colors, they start to pop. You can just imagine the bread is going to soak up all those flavors. So we're going to add a bit of olive oil as well. If you wanted to, you could add a kick into this, maybe let's say some chili, but remember I added some chili in the chicken skewers, so I'm not going to add any here. Again, generous with the oil. It's a generous salad, like I mentioned. So we're going to go ahead and mix this. Everything is looking really good. And the bread is just going to soak up all the nice flavors from the balsamic vinegar, from the tomatoes. So this is that kind of salad. Nothing goes to waste. And everything is minded. Don't worry about the one trying to get away. Okay? That's good enough. Then we're going to add some herbs in here. What I have is parsley as well as some basil, so I'm going to add both. You could add whatever herbs you have. Let's say if you had some dhania, you could add some dhania. Now dhania, for those of you who are not familiar with dhania, it's just what we Kenyans and sometimes Indians call our coriander or cilantro if you're from Mexico or abroad. So we call ours dhania, you guys call them cilantro or coriander. So I'm just going to get some basil. I have some moments with herbs sometimes when you get these lovely herbs and they just smell so divine. You just get carried away with the smell. So what I'm doing is just rolling them so they can be easier to chop. So I just want to get another one. And always make sure your herbs are already washed. As you can see, mine are nice and clean. So I'm just going to roll them up so they can be nice and easy to chop. And then we're just going to go ahead and chop this. So that way you don't do it a lot of times, you're only doing it once. And again, what this will do is just add a nice herby taste to your salad, because we've added 2 sorts of herbs, so it's bringing a nice light taste to it. So everything is going to be nice and earthy and summery, so it's just all lovely. It's bringing all those flavors together. It's evoking that feeling of summer, the lightness, the breeze, all that stuff, all that good stuff. Okay, so once this is mixed, this looks pretty good. And then again, if you look at my bread, it's only been sitting for less than, you are watching, like less than 2 minutes. And you can already see it's already starting to soak up. That's exactly what you're looking for. So you can imagine if you leave this out longer for about an hour, if you refrigerate this in the fridge for about 5 or so hours, or even left it overnight, this is one of those salads that will actually work well if you leave it overnight, because the bread will soak up the flavors and it will be nice and soft and juicy. But if you don't like your bread a bit on the soggy side, then I guess you want to soak it for less. Okay, so once that's done, I'm going to have a taste, and I'm just going to go straight in for the bread, because I feel like that's also one of the other stars of the dish other than the tomato. Don't mind bedo. The balsamic vinegar in here, oh, it's so lovely. It just brings this nice sweetness to it, a mellow sweetness, not too sharp, not too strong. So it balances it out really nicely with the oil. So it's something you ought to try out. And the capsicums as well, they bring the natural sweetness to the dish. So this is a really nice, lovely light salad. I just want to wash my hands. So that's it for a salad. As you saw, it was very simple to make. So the good thing about it is you want to leave it to rest. And then we're going to check on our chicken. But by the looks of it, it's doing well. So this is something you could make in a very short time. Okay, just check on your chicken and see how it's doing. You can see the yellow color I was talking about. I mentioned if you didn't have turmeric, you could use food color. Yes, so our chicken is going well. So we're just going to leave it here a bit longer. And then don't worry about the juices that come off. We're just going to strain those a bit later. And then I'm going to now add my heat to about, now where the 200 was, about 200. And then let that continue cooking. And then in the meantime, we'll go on a short break, so that by the time you come back, I'll have taken my chicken out of the oven. It will be ready to go, and I'll have done a bit of clearance so we can get to plating, because like I've mentioned, our salad is done. It was very simple to make. The star of the show, Panzanella Salad. Oh, I'm already hungry. I don't know if you guys are. I'm starving to eat a nice summery salad. Okay, so we'll go on a short break, and then I'll see you guys after a little bit. See you. Hi guys, welcome back to Lunch Guide. I'm your host and chef, Sheena Amario. Today we're making a panzanella salad with some chicken tikka skewers. And if you've just joined in, we're about to wrap up, but we had some chicken skewers that were in the oven when we went on the break, which are actually done. All I did finish them off is just drain the moisture that you saw earlier. So the moisture that was in, I just drained it off and then put them back in to finish cooking for an extra 5 or so minutes until they were nice and juicy and dry, as you can see. So that's exactly what you're looking for. And then for the salad, as you remember, we had already finished mixing it, and our bread has been soaking up all these nice flavors and goodness. So you can imagine when we take a bite of that bread, how nice and succulent it's going to be. I'm enticing you. Okay, fine. So we're going to go ahead with our plating because everything else is pretty much done. We're going to put our skewers here, and then the salad is going to go in there. And then just to finish this off, let's go ahead and plate some of our salad in here. So you want a nice plain plate, because remember your salad is very colorful, so I'm opting to go with just a regular white plate here. You could use a black plate if you wanted, or plain yellow plate if you wanted, just so that your salad can pop when you put it. And if you'll notice, our bread actually tends to look like chicken. That's actually what the balsamic vinegar does, and that's the power of the bread actually soaking up all those nice juices that it's been soaking up. It's looking like we put in some fresh bread. There we go. And then, some chicken instead of bread. That's exactly what it's looking like. So we're going to add some herbs, just some more parsley to finish it off, because it's a nice, beautiful, colorful salad. All the colors, they're coming out, they're popping. For our chicken, we can just go ahead and place 2. Let's not be greedy. So we're just going to go ahead and place 2 chicken sticks right there. And this is our chicken tikka skewers, which I added the marinade. I mentioned you could marinate it overnight. I used some yogurt, and my tray is looking a bit plain, so I'm just going to add something a little extra for a little pop. And then we can add some cutlery in there as well, so that you can feel you're ready to eat. So once you see the food, you'll be ready to dive in. You'll be like, yes, yes, I am ready. So there we have it, our nice, lovely salad. This is our Panzanella salad, like I mentioned. And then we've got our chicken tikka skewers here, and it's plated for you nice and beautiful, so you can see it through the lens and want to make it and eat it at home. Notice I'm lowering my voice so I can entice you, pull you in into the camera with me and visualize. I'm trying to make you visualize you're eating the salad. Yes, visualizing for you. But since you're not there, I'll do it for you. I'm just going to go ahead and take a bite here of the salad that I made already, just a small chunk. Like I mentioned, nice and juicy and tasty. You can take a small bite of the chicken as well. Oh, the chicken is so nice and soft from the yogurt marinade, and that's exactly what yogurt does. Because of the lactose in it, it makes it nice and soft. And the chili, it just brings it a nice kick from afar. So that's it, guys. That's what we made today. We made some Panzanella salad with some chicken tikka skewers. I'm your host and chef, Sheena Amario. Please remember to join us and follow us on social media, Brand Plus TV. I'll be looking forward to you, and we can socialize some more. So this is Lunch Guide. It's been fun having you guys. See you next time. Bye.